Roscoe.
That is my name.
Roscoe. You know, I was editing a video that's more than an hour long about a trip to Japan. It's been literally months. I'm still editing this video, maybe because I'm lazy, right? And stuff like that. But I found out something. I found out ReZero is back, and now it became top priority. That video of Japan, maybe never coming out now. This is the only thing we're gonna do ever now.
The Hulk video, never coming out. The Flash video, never coming out.
We've literally done a video on Lupe Fiasco that was, I was like, I listened to it, and I was like, man, this is really good. And I totally forgot it.
It's stuck in the Disney vault.
Oh, God. Roscoe, we're going to talk about ReZero in its third season because it's out, and it's probably the only consistent thing that we could ever do.
True. We just need to get more. We just need to get more serious about it, I guess, or we need to get more serious about it. I think.
Yeah, but like, you know, let's put that aside. Let's stuff that into the corner, and let's talk about ReZero because it's the third season. We're back, baby. We're back. You want to do like a quick recap of what we remember from season 2 before we talk about this crazy shit?
Yeah, sure. I just want to point out while I was watching episode 1 is I forgot a lot of stuff.
It's okay. There's a lot of stuff that happens in ReZero.
And then it happens over and over again. Yeah.
So if you're somehow listening to this and you're like, I'm just here to listen to a review of ReZero without rushing ReZero, from two random guys, here's a little bit of the backstory of ReZero. So you got this guy named Subaru. He gets isekai'd real hard into this new fantasy world. He thinks it's gonna be all good. It is not. He dies pretty much immediately, and he figures out he has the ability to return from death. And you're like, oh, this is cool. It's like a video game. There's one small caveat, just a tiny thing. Dying really sucks. And he does not like it, which makes sense. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he dies in like some of the most brutal ways out there. So you have this character falls basically heads over heels over this half elf, half human person named Emilia, and adventures ensues. So a lot of stuff happens, but we'll just talk about the stuff about the second episode. ReZero is a fucking asshole. We find out, and he has been pulling a lot of the strings in the first and second episode. ReZero is just basically a mage clown dude that talks funny. And Ram stands by him for some reason.
That's black love right there. that's that Jada and that Will love right there.
Oh my gosh. Man, I'm like, Subaru has successfully killed the second great beast. I forgot the exact name. It's like, I'm just gonna call it the great beast. He killed the bunnies, like he killed the whales. He got out of this like the forest of the beast people, of the beast folk. He's made friends with Garfield, and he got another friend on his side. Beto is officially in a contract with Subaru, and now he has a great spirit on his side, and everything's gonna go great. Everything's gonna be perfect and no problems at all. He's way more powerful now.
What could go wrong?
Nothing at all. So that's a quick recap of first 2 seasons. If you want to listen to our first takes on those first 2 seasons, there's just a playlist that should be in. Just follow that. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the first episode and the second episode today. We can start off with the first. And then we'll probably transition to the second pretty soon because they kind of flow very seamlessly into each other.
It has been a long time since the last season of ReZero, and yes. Shouts out to the makers who decided, you know, you avoided for so long, so patiently. We're gonna give you an hour and 30 minutes of content on the first episode. Like at first I thought when I saw 1 hour and 30 minutes, this is gonna be like one of those Sword Art Online episodes that's just a recap. And I was like, oh, I turned to CJ, here we go again.
Here we go again. Yeah, I was thinking this first episode was gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be like a lot of recapping stuff. Basically right off the bat, they're like, okay, a year has passed, right? And a lot of things are like kind of normalized now, You get Indiana Subaru and stuff around. You get the sense that like things are going fairly well for the Subaru gang right now.
Yeah, and suddenly they get a knock on the door, and it is what is her name? It's not her last name is like Hoshi Anastasia. Is it Anastasia, or is she
Yeah,
it's one of their. She gets a knock from one of her like servants.
yeah, it's I can't believe Julius
Julie.
the yeah, it's like his little brother. So like Astarius's knight little brother comes to the Emilian Tan's, I guess Rosario. How is Rosario still like the boss of this place? Castle. Because some reason we still letting this ride.
Hold on. Side note: did they fix the castle? Because in the last episode, it burned down.
Yes, they fixed the castle. They also added a secret base so Subaru and Garfield could train. Yeah, so they fixed everything. Somehow Frederica is still okay with like with like being Rosario's servant. Like this is a lot of stuff that is just like you guys are just cool. It's like it's the same thing to me when people talk about like Sasuke, right? Like at the end of the Naruto series, and of Shippuden and stuff like that. They're like, well, you know, he went through this thing, and this thing is like 100% makes him not evil anymore. And I'm like, fuck that, bro. Do you remember what Sasuke did? like what are we talking about? Like, but is everyone's okay and riding with him becoming Hokage and shit like that off of all the shit he just caused? Granted, I understand the Uchiha was in a bad spot and was like fucked up shit happened to them. Sasuke was a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, anyway, so we get to knock. It's one of it's Julius's brother inviting the gang to come to a island I don't know, it's an island city in the middle of a lake called, what was its name? Is it like Patella?
Yeah, let me look real quick.
Pristella?
Let me check because I know the one of the candidates is starts with a P. I just don't want to get it mixed up. Yeah, it's called Prestella.
Oh yeah, okay. They get invited to the island city of Prestella to meet with Anastasia Krush, one of the other candidates for title of king. And he tries to sweeten the pot by promising that they have some information on how to resurrect Puck from his, I don't know if he's in stasis or whatever. Last time we saw he was taken out of the game.
Yeah. We don't got our fluffy boy around.
So the gang travels to Pristella, where hijinks ensues.
The person you're talking about it's Anastasia
Hoshini.
Yeah, Hoshini. Crush is the other one. Crush is the green hair one. So that's basically the beginning of the first episode, and generally more stuff happens that are just kind of just like you figure out that Anastasia has like a very big Japanese background. So they have like a Zen garden, like their thing is like a very Japanese like hot spring kind of place. Yeah, and you learn all these small things. One thing I really liked that they did was like this like kind of quick TLDR or how all the candidates are going, right? Like how this is like the state of like the politics, right? And it's like kind of like everyone is still on the board. Everyone's gaining momentum in different ways. Like Felt going to all the people in the slums and like kind of being like, hey, change and like that, right? And like getting momentum there. Amelia is kind of like being like held up because of like she's a part of the team that killed the whale and the bunny, right? Same with Crush and I keep messing up,
Anastasia,
right? And then there's this other one, I think she's called like the Sun Princess or whatever. What is her name?
I was just off the tip of my tongue.
It's like Priscilla.
Priscilla?
Yeah, Priscilla. Who's just like she's just kind of like this like smooth operator, kind of like super like charismatic and pretty.
Peasant.
What do you say?
Peasant.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the biggest part of her. I think she is arrogant, entitled, and mean as fuck. Like they all have momentum. They're all like in this race. The only person that has kind of fall off a little bit is Crush, mainly because she lost her fucking memory.
To the
got
whale.
eaten up. Yeah. No, not the whale.
Oh, wasn't the whale?
No, it was from the Archbishop of Gluttony.
Oh yeah.
He fucked up Rem as well. This is why Rem is in a fucking bed. Best girl, still in a coma. So like, yeah, you get this quick TLDR of like the politics of the thing, and you're like, okay, everyone's coming to this like get together, is invited to get together for certain reasons or whatever. But that's just kind of a ploy. It was just like a way to get people there. The real thing that they wanted to talk about was basically the Archbishop of Gutley and taking him out or getting to him, because everyone wants their memory back. Like just people that were affected by the attack in season 2. And then, no, I did. It was at the beginning of the end of season 1, beginning of season 2, are still affected. Like they still don't have their memory. I believe that's when it happened.
Yes, and somehow Anastasia has managed to procure some valuable information on. Did she ever reveal the information about the whereabouts of Gluttony?
No, but it's coming very apparent very quickly. But she didn't reveal it, and it wasn't because she was like trying to be coy. She was kind of being coy, but the main reason is that she got interrupted. Because let's talk about some of the smaller beats that happened in the first episode.
Yeah,
and like let's talk about the one that's the most relevant at this time. We found out that Wilhelm, what's redhead dude name? Reinhard, Willem, have a relationship, their grandson and grandpappy, and we meet Reinhardt's dad, and there's a lot of like weird shit happening there. Like Will was basically a dick to his grandson because he was like, I'm angry at my wife's death, and I'm gonna take it out on this small child.
And we don't know why at first.
Yeah.
It's not really spoken. When they first meet each other, it's awkward. Neither one can really talk to each other. And we later find out why.
Yeah. Do you want to tell why?
At first, what Natsuki meets Wilhelm late at night, and they have a deep conversation about what's happened so far, and Wilhelm's relationship with his wife and Reinhard, and they're talking, and he says some really nice things to Subaru, and he remarks like, I wish I could speak as freely to my grandson, and things haven't been the same because I blamed him. He didn't say I blamed him, because of who I became when my wife died. And Subaru, and this is the same thing in the book, because I did read a little bit further ahead. Nobody decided he didn't want to. I was like, I have to go read a little bit more.
I thought the third season would come out sooner.
Yeah. Subaru's like, okay, let's just use the power of friendship. We're going to set up the situation where, like, we'll get y'all to talk. And everything's going well. Everything's going perfect. Until, Heinkel, Reinhardt's dad, shows up, unannounced.
And he is an asshole.
Yes. He is obviously the drunken fist style swordsman.
Yeah, he was like, you ain't getting shit, so you guys are all just deadbeat. And how is it going, Dad? What the you been up to?
Did I just catch you having fun?
It does come off of that energy where it's like, his whole purpose of coming into this thing was like, I felt there was a good thing about to happen. I wanted to stop that shit. And you find out that this was kind of true because Priscilla, like, caught wind of them meeting all each other, and they're like, "Hey, this might fix a relationship. Let me go over there and fuck it up."
Which, well, we can talk about this later. The question just occurred to me: how did she know about this? But also, Heinkel manages to like really make the situation awkward by revealing that it was Reinhard who somehow, we haven't found out yet, has something to do with killing Wilhelm's wife.
Yeah,
the original Sword Saint.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Subaru's character because he is the protagonist of the story, but he's so weak and so like can't like lure authority over people. Like the only way he has a reflex is like people listening to him or people trusting him, right? And it's like it's kind of cool to see that like Wilhelm has an easier like sees Subaru as like a more of like a son that he could talk to than like anyone in his family. And it's a really weird thing. Like, you know, like he's like, Subaru's like, oh, you should tell him about the story about you killing the whale because he wants to know. Because like Subaru, it's still like, I know it's been a year and he's proving a lot of stuff, but like he's only been here for like 2 years, maybe. And like when everyone first met him, they didn't quite like him. You know what I'm trying to say?
There is not a single person in this show, I think, so far, that hasn't tried to kill him.
Yeah.
At some point.
And for some good reasons, some kind of fucked up reasons, right? But like yeah, it's something that like you can see that William has Subaru has earned William's trust, and he's leveraging that trust to like help William out personally, right? Like he's like not trying to like he's not trying to wheel him into like a deal to use his power or anything like that. He's more like just like, hey man, like I just noticed this thing and I think it's fucked up.
We also find out that there are tensions between the royal government and the Wilhelm von Estrella camp.
Yeah. And I don't know, if I was the government, I'd be like, I gotta get over that because that dude is strong. You see that dude? You see this motherfucker?
That's like
he is the protagonist.
That's like having difficult relationships with 2 nuclear warheads. Your nuclear warheads.
Like, how badass was this Saint? Because, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they both are like, she was like way better than us. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, you literally in this world of or whatever, you were literally going Dragon Ball Z on everyone when the wheel was happening, and you're supposed to be an old man.
Which I would like to enter into speculation zone. You know, we're skipping over a lot of details right now that I'm sure we'll cover, but just real quickly. What do you think is their relationship between the Von Estrella family?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, what do you think? What is your idea about the chronology, like the timeline of what happened? We see a lot of things that aren't really fully connected. Like we know Wilhelm has a difficult relationship with Reinhard because of something that led to his wife's death. And we also know that Wilhelm's son, Heinkel, is a bit of a dick. But we don't know why. He's a bit of a drunk, and we don't know why. So my question is, how are we feeling in the pieces? What's going on, do you think?
I'm gonna blame the fucking whale. I think because like the whale's ability was like stealing shit, like stealing like wasn't memories. It was like stealing people's like livelihoods and lives away and shit like that, right?
Couldn't it like erase your existence?
Yeah, it was like something like super uber like fucked up. The crux of all that is like something to deal with, like maybe the government, because like out of all the beasts, the whale was the only one that was kind of like out and about roaming that we know of, you know what I'm saying? Other than a snake, maybe, but we don't know where it's at, right? The bunnies was in a beast folks place, right? Like no one really cared about it. Or the people who was terrorizing the government didn't really care, right? Or it seemed that way. But like the whale was like a real problem for everyone. So I'm thinking someone try to leverage or push like the family to do something about the whale. They overcommitted or they were too confident and things went really haywire. Maybe someone not directly in the Reinhardt family or got fucked up, but maybe it's something like they were like serving to or whatever. And this is why like they're in this position where like, you know, the government doesn't trust them. The High Ankle is literally saying like, hey, you know all that land and stuff you need to help out your candidate, I'm not giving you that shit, right? Like, but he's also in enough like of a position to be like, I know we're making fun of him, but he's literally a vice captain, which is stronger than Julius, right? So I'm gonna presume that he's at least around about of like skill level as Julius, right?
An
Which
honorary
is like,
vice captain.
yeah, honorary. Yes, very, yeah, honorary. But you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think he's a pushover either. What do you think?
I think two separate things. My question is, what does Heinkel have against both of them? Because it wouldn't be one thing if Heinkel just didn't like his dad, you know, but he's actively interfering more so in towards Reinhard than Wilhelm. Because who's Wilhelm's candidate?
It's
Isn't it Krush?
yeah, it's Crush.
Yeah, Crush. Crush got money. You know, this
Yeah.
game is predominantly like 4 nepo babies and two poppers. We have Amelia. She's broke, but it's okay because she has Joker Bruce Wayne on her side.
The most insane person ever on her side.
Yes. He's got the power of money, insanity, and maids.
And the worst part is he's insane because he's a fucking simp. That's the worst part of it.
But you have Felt, who is kind of has like the Cinderella story going on with her. She is coming from rags to riches, but here is Reinhard almost having no riches right now because Heinkel's standing in the way. So
Yeah.
whatever has happened, it's created enough resentment that it just bleeds everywhere.
Yeah.
What we don't know is how Heinkel felt about his mom. Maybe
Yeah,
Heinkel
I think-
really cared about his mom, and when his dad like pushed away, he became kind of like resentful towards him, and that somehow reflected on his son.
Even
that's my
like
guess.
him killing the whale, like, yeah, we have to understand his relationship with his mom because like he even like he mentions like, oh, good job of killing the whale. Are you satisfied, old man? Right? And it doesn't seem like he's like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if he cared about his mom, like he would still be in like those two kind of state where it's like, you might be a dick, you might have did some wrong stuff, but at least like you still got like a kind of final enemy that we all kind of hate. It seems like Reinhardt and Williams obviously really hated the whale, right? Or it had its like anger to it or whatever, but couldn't do anything about it at the time.
And my second thing, I won't.
Or whales.
Or whales, yeah. I don't want to get into too much of it, but I'm also wondering whether or not Wilhelm's wife is even dead, because they all still remember her, which is strange.
Yeah.
If she was dead by the hands of at least by the hands of the whale, the whale didn't have hands, but let's assume it had hands.
It had hands. It fucked up a lot of people. What do you mean?
It would be like
specifically Subaru.
Wilhelm wouldn't be like, "Oh, my poor wife." He'd be like, "What wife?"
Yeah.
They'd be like, "What mom?" You know. But you know, they all remember it. So there's got to be something more that they're not telling us.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next like kind of small thing that happens, because we got to talk about all the small things because it's definitely going to lead into the big thing because this is what ReZero does.
Yeah. This whole episode was basically the first volume after the end of the last season, and it's predominantly exposition. So there's a lot to get to.
Yeah. So okay, let's go to why Amelia came to the water capital, like to kind of save Pot. Basically, they have to make a trade with this dude that's obsessed with a songstress. You guess the vibe of this town is like very like musical. Like there's like a lot of like allusions to this person that is like a singer that everyone loves in the city. And you know, obviously, Subaru walks past her and basically immediately becomes friends with her. And you kind of get this like you get this like new player in this whole thing, right? Where she has like a lot of pull around town because like she's this amazing songwriter, singer. the thing I want to mention is the initial deal goes bad. Like they don't get the crystal that they were looking for, and they're hoping to get another shot. Mainly because of Subaru, but that is like a small thing that happens. Oh, one other thing is the songstress 100 confirms like everyone has heard what Subaru has done, or it's a very well known rumor right now that there's this guy like killing the great beasts and shit like that.
Yes.
his title very unfortunate, very unfortunate title.
The whole world knows about Subaru, the little girl user. Which I wrote when I heard that, lock him up. With a title like that.
Yeah, that is not a good title, not a good title at all. But like, yeah, he basically befriends this person. There's another small thing where this songstress denies I keep forgetting her name, Pristella. She's like, hey, I can't sing for you because, you know, my song needs to be like this Roman thing or whatever. And everyone thought that Pristella was gonna murder the fuck out of her. Priscilla.
Yeah, second, like, this more just so add, I was not expecting Priscilla to have hands.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she seems to be not the one you fuck around with. But you know, I was surprised when Amelia went down over there. She was like, yeah, I got hands too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when did that happen? I don't remember this at all.
She must have been in that hyperbolic chamber because like now she would have been super helpful in the fucking Beast Force or whatever.
Because predominantly, like last season, the season before, she was just like magic missile, magic missile, magic missile. Now she's like,
Yeah.
now she's got a Zompac toe, and she's out here walking on air and stuff. She got the foot stance going.
That's a small thing I would like to think. Like I do think Amelia seems to be more of a character. Like she seems to be more of a character now, which is nice. So far. Well, actually, like, let me walk that one back because I just remembered that.
Wait, what? I'm trying to remember what exactly happened at the end.
We get to it, but yeah, I do like how this, you know, she's like, no, I'm coming. Like, no, I'm gonna go. Right? Like, yeah.
Oh
no,
yeah. Sorry, I forgot.
Like, yeah, it was like, nah, yeah, Subaru, I know you're saying you're angry, but you know, I'm coming anyway, right? Like, I kind of like this because, like, you know, it's not like she's not strong, right? Like, obviously she's stronger than Subaru. I only have one other thing that I'm thinking about the first, like the first small thing I want to talk about before we talk about the ending of episode 1, if that makes sense.
Okay. I got one more thing to backtrack because we still haven't talked about Garfield.
Oh, that was the thing. I was going to talk about Garfield.
Okay.
All right. First off, I'm gonna say, Garfield is feeling that fucking PTSD from the guts lady, which is understandable because she was fucking terrified.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
Like I'm interested that they brought it up, and they keep saying that she's like, hey man, you killed me. Even though you're weak, the only reason you killed me is because like you were lucky or whatever. And I'm like, the more they say it, the more I'm like, bitch, this bitch is not dead. She's too slimy to die.
That was a very J. Cole thing to say right there. I wouldn't have lost the battle. Would have lost a bro.
Oh man, Fort Antonio is a good song. We're gonna continue skipping over this because that will lead to a whole other discussion. But yeah, I find that very interesting that they're highlighting that, hey, this character's dead. I kind of want that character to come back because of this like kind of grudge, and like she's kind of like just like thorn in the side of everyone. But I'm also like, if that character comes back, I don't know how Subaru wins anything because she was the only person there, and she was like soloing everyone.
She's probably a clone or something. I think we'll get to that.
Got you. But I guess you want to talk about the other big thing that happens with Garfield.
Yeah. So very random scene. Garfield ends up saving some kids while hanging out with I don't remember her name, just the cat girl.
May, I think.
May
May or Mimi.
Yeah.
I think
Mimi, or I think it's Mimi. But anyway, she saves the girl, or she saves the kids, and takes one of them home. Just side note, doesn't seem to be related, but they both have blonde hair. which apparently is relevant. They meet his sister. Sister's very upset at the boy for having run off. And, there's just a little, like, exchange. Garfield's just being his regular, like, just, let him go. Like, I had a sister once. Sort of vibes. And then a woman comes up. It's their mother. And Garfield's face changes. Because, at least to him, it seems it's his mother.
Yeah. So Garfield may have come across his mom in the city.
That's such a random event.
Well, yeah, it's very random. But if you if you watch season 2, you can understand why this is like not a small thing for Garfield, right? A lot of his hangups, and a lot of the reasons that he was a complete asshole in season 2 was because of this hangup of like, I have to protect everyone, and no one can leave. My mom left, and no one else can leave. My mom left, and then my sister left, so I got really upset. So I made no one else can leave me.
I totally forgot about that. He was ready to murder everybody.
It's like, dude, I understand your hangups, but please, man, please. I'm interested on where that's gonna go, but effectively, it has removed Garfield from the story, which is probably not what we fucking need right now.
If anything, we for sure need Garfield at this point, but it is a really smart writing choice to not have him around.
Yeah. So I think we've hit all the beats. Let's talk about the ending of episode 1. So, Subaru, the Songstress, Priscilla, and Amelia, and Beto are all together. They're kind of just cabin upon each other, and this is where the Songstress rejects Priscilla, and everyone's like, okay, it's chill or whatever, and she's like, the Songstress is like, yo, Subaru, go get us some treats, and then we'll talk some more, and all this other stuff, right? Subaru's all right, cool, let me go get some treats or whatever, right? It's not a thing. He bumps into the dude that murdered him successfully and didn't murder him successfully in the first seasons, right? And he's like, there's like someone called out from this high tower, and it's like, oh, there's a creepy robed bandaged lady up there, and she's like getting everyone's attention or whatever, and saying a lot of like weird shit about like confessions and love and all that other stuff, and everyone just seems to be really into it, like really into it. Even Subaru, they start like clapping and yelling and being like, ding. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this person is also an archbishop of sin. Says it off the bat.
Which, given Subaru's history with archbishops, especially ones with the last name Conti, he should be very reactive. And for whatever reason, I wrote this down like, bro, you need to run. He just does nothing.
Yeah. It seems like this is gonna be a cordial experience. Nothing bad happens or whatever, right? Even Subaru starts talking to her, kind of. I think the most interesting thing that happens in this small scene, at least the first time, is when she's like, "Hey guys," she literally points people out in the crowd, be like, "I can feel the wrath in your heart. Just just calm down, just chill out." And then they do, and then everything's cool. She's doing her C's. And then she grabs this kid and fucking chucks him off a building. And then you're like, that seems like a big switch. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention, when she chucks this kid off the building and his head explodes from hitting the ground, everyone else that was there's head explodes, and feels the exact pain that kid does.
And then Subaru finds his way back to the save point, which is now going out to get snacks.
Yes, which fucking sucks, bro. That's a terrible save point. As soon as he came back to that area, I was like, oh my gosh, you are so fucked.
And each time he has such a strong reaction.
Yes, it is each time the big thing this is kind of going into the second episode. So we're moving on to the second episode. The big thing you learn about this Saint Bishop of Wrath is that she has this ability to control people and control their emotions and make everyone feel the same things. And she, you think, if you think Petagus, was it Petagus, Betagus Ponti was bad and a creep, she's up there too. She is looking people's eyeballs, and then making everyone feel it.
And making kids piss their pants.
Yeah, she's crazy and really sadistic. So Subaru is trying to deal with it. So like first he goes over there and he's like, I'm just gonna try to untie the kid, untie the kid, and then get the fuck out. Because it's I think the time frame is like 30 minutes. Like he has 30 minutes to like do this stuff or whatever before she starts talking on the tower. So at first he's like, all right, I'm just gonna unlock the kid. That goes horribly fucking wrong. You know, it seems like archbishops are like incredibly strong and you shouldn't fuck with them alone. And then, you know, he was like, okay, I got a big brain plan. Gonna go get Lionheart and have him fuck her up. And, you know, I was like, when I first heard this thing, I was like, this is good. This is a good plan. And it was good for probably the first half of it. Second half, kind of bad. Because you remember what I was saying about like everyone feeling the same thing? It happens again. Basically, Reinhardt goes over there, starts smacking the big crown. He's like, all right, time to kill you. And he kills her. And everyone else dies. Because like they have the shared experience.
Flashback back to the snacks save point.
Yeah, and I like how like every time he goes back to I always say this about the show. It's like death for Subaru is always very uncomfortable, and I think it's a very important thing to keep pushing in the show. And I think it's like a good thing they push because it's like it's never fucking comfortable for him to die. And the ways he's dying are never like stuff that he desires. It's like you obviously get like every single time he's like, bro, that was like the worst ever.
So I would prefer not to do this ever again.
Yeah. You can tell that he's like very, very upset, scared, and afraid of like going back to that situation because of like the death. Not because just the death was gruesome, but just because he hates kind of coming back from death.
So this time he decides to take Beatrice along with him. Mm-hmm. He's going to utilize his powers as the little girl user to somehow solve this issue. He explains to her the situation, minus, of course, how he knows, because I don't think we said this before, but if you watch the show, you know that he is unable to tell people about his ability.
Which leads into a lot of situations where people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just tell us the truth. And he's like, please, just believe me. Come on.
Yeah. But Beatrice at this point is the what is the word? I'm trying to think the word. I'm gonna have to edit to when I remember the word. She is like the second string best girl, and she's like, don't worry about it. I believe you. You don't even have to tell me why or how you know.
She's Rem. She's backup Rem. She was on the bench. You know, Rem is in a coma now. She's playing She's playing the court. She's pressing full court. She's doing layups.
Rem sprained her ankle.
She sprained her ankle. She sprained her memory ankle.
So Beatrice comes up with a great idea to use Shamak, which I wrote down. Finally, Shamak comes into play because they only use that once.
Yes.
Specifically, I wrote, finally, Shamak, the most useless Rasengan of all time.
He's so useless, bro. Yes.
It's like, in this world, it's gotta be, like, on the equivalent of a Magikarp Splash.
So, yeah, you're like, okay, he's about to use Shamak. Everything's gonna be cool. We got a plan. It's gonna work out.
They're going to utilize Shamak, which she explains. I don't know if they ever explained this before, but Shamak has a really interesting ability where it cuts anyone within the area's access or connection to the outside world magic-wise.
Yeah.
So their idea is, hey, we're going to go up to this girl. You know, I'm going to use my powers to get you real up close, and you're going to hit her with the Shamak, and then everyone's going to be cool. We're gonna. I don't know if she said we're gonna bring Reinhardt or not, but we're just gonna kill her. We're gonna kill her.
Yeah. And you know, as they're about to go in this plan, Amia comes and is like, "Hey, this is kind of what I was saying earlier. It's like, hey, I'm coming. I figured it out. You were acting really weird. Like you fucking seen 8 ghosts and half of them were you. So I'm coming and I know you're about to do something dangerous. Also, I was eavesdropping. I've increased my sneak powers since the last time we've met. So I heard that conversation too, that there's an archbishop coming, and I believe you." And they were like, "Okay, all right." Subaru accepts it. He knows he can't do anything about it. They go over there, and there's like, okay, the thing's about to start. She's about to start, and Ami was like, "First attack, best attack," and Jaden just throws a huge fucking ice cool like at this bitch's head, and like even Subaru was like, that seems a little bit fast. And there, she's like, "Hey man, you said this was surprising. I was just doing my job." And she's like, "All right, yeah." So
somewhere within the 2 years of post production, she enrolled herself in the school of Cobra Kai. Strike hard, no mercy.
No mercy. Yeah, because that first attack was like, it wasn't small. It was very like, this someone's obviously using a large amount of magic right now. Yeah. They shoot this girl, and Subaru has met this person 3 times right now, and he expects this certain reaction out of this person. It's like the Archbishop of Wrath seems to be very chill, right? And then she sees Amelia, and she's not chill at all. She is angry. She's pissed. She believes that she has stole her man. She immediately goes down and says like, "I am 1v1ing this hoe." and you think that might be like strong language? The language they used was like very, 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 very strong. It's this the Archbishop was using, right? So Amelia's like, "Oh, fine, run your hands or whatever," and you're like, it's like, okay. When I first was thinking this fight was gonna happen, I was like, okay, Amelia might just get body here, but no, she was holding her own. She was fucking her up.
Run the hands, she did. She wanted all the smoke, no shamak.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry, we forgot to mention Shamak. Basically they get there, and as soon as they get there, they're like, "Oh, Shamak is gonna be useless in this situation."
Like it usually is.
I find that it's hilarious where it's like, "Oh no, we fucked it up. It's not gonna work anymore."
It's so useless. They went a whole entire season without using it.
But yeah, so like they are running the ones, and Amelia's winning, and then Amelia's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go fuck up the bitch one more time," and the Archbishop of Wrath was like, "Hey, there's a kid." Kid shield, a child shield, and Amelia was like, "Oh fuck, I can't hit that," and it's like, "Bitch," and she throws the kid away, and then immediately burns Amelia into this like fiery ash thingy, or tries to.
Real quick, right? I want to put up the information that it is highly alluded to that Wrath's husband is Petal Juice. There's a couple instances where she says something along the lines of like, "You killed my husband, like this is for my husband," and it's highly suggested that she's related to somebody within that group, probably Petal Juice.
Yeah, there seems to be a possibility of that, right? So you're like, "Oh no, fucking Amelia is getting burnt alive. This is bad." And then you're like, "Oh, the situation's a lot worse because Amelia doesn't get burnt to death, right? She gets saved." You're like, "Oh, that's cool," but she gets saved by the Archbishop of fucking Greed, which out of all of them, it seems to be the fucking most confident and the worst. And this dude is not being coy at all. He's like, bro, he looks super dead in his face. He's like, "Bro, I'm glad I got here in time. I'm about to take my wife, my 79th wife, and I'm gonna take care of her. So you guys can just chill or whatever, right?" And that's where the story ends. The episode ends.
Fade to black. Your princess is now in another castle.
Basically, right?
When I heard that, I heard him say the 79th instantly. I heard They Not Like Us pop up, and it was like he a 79 god. Literally though, because I'm pretty. There's a lot of the last season that I don't remember, but I'm very confident that he met her when she was a child. In question mark to you, did he kill her mother or her sister or whatever the lady was?
I know he was in the second season. Like that's when we met another witch. It was a witch of like retconning. I forgot what her name was, but he was definitely like in that kind of like area story when they were like talking about when Echidna and Amelia were like dealing with their stuff or like going through their past or whatever. He fell into this somehow.
I'm about to look it up, hopefully with zero spoilers.
um yeah, that's where it ends. And as soon as it ended, I was like, you fucking bitch. Like I'm like this like I was like, it's only the second episode, bro. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more build up to climactic and climactic stuff or whatever, cliffhangers. But they're starting off fucking hot, right? Like it's just like, hey, here's a bad thing, here's a thing that makes it worse. And like I'm gonna bring up the opening, right? Like, so I watched the opening of the thing, and the way I was looking at the opening, it's like very action packed. It has like a lot of players in it, and like the way it was looking, I was like, okay, they're gonna meet the Bishop of Greed, but I was like out in my head, like looking at the opening, I was like, this is gonna happen probably like later down the line, like this is probably gonna happen around episode 7 or so. Nope. The very part of ending of the opener seems like this ending, like this episode, right? Like it seems like this dude is just like, I've got what I wanted, time for me to go. Or it seems like he's about to bounce off real quick, and Subaru and Betty are gonna be fucked.
Sorry, I'm still trying to search for the thing. I think what I was thinking of was it was the original, like when we first met. Wait, no. I remember in the flashbacks we did meet Petal Goose before he was like really crazy.
Yeah, we met Petal Goose before he was crazy. He was he was a merchant with Amelia's mom.
Yes.
He was like a merchant character person or whatever, and he seemed fairly normal. He seemed actually charming. And then like stuff happened. Yeah, I just know I don't remember what happened, but I remember Amelia kind of stands up to Echidna, and basically this is like the beginning of her kind of getting her confidence. That's what I remembered from the second season with her stuff with Echidna. I miss Echidna, I'm not gonna lie. The more I start talking about it, the more I miss her.
Do you think she's gonna come into play at all anymore?
I honestly want all those the witches to come into play, because all of them seem super interesting. And like there's a couple things I enjoy about the show, but I really enjoy like the interpretation of the sins, because like it seems they push so hard in one way, it seems like it sometimes come back around in like weird ways, and like the reasonings for becoming these things seem like very reasonable. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's like, hey, like I think the Witch of Gluttony has like this super solid case where it's like, yeah, I made all these beasts because I wanted to end hunger. Like there's like, he's like, oh, why didn't you just like make them passive or whatever? And it's like, well, like once something that is living that wants to die, right? It's like the only way to make them, right? And then she kind of goes into like the intricacies of like how hunger is like this like crazy thing, and it's like something that it's hard to have a concept about until you feel it. And as soon as Subaru feels it, it like literally makes him start trying to eat his own arm, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, right. So like I really enjoy the way they push it. Like Echidna is the Witch of Greed, and you understand that she's plotting and scheming as hell, but like off the bat she's like super reasonable. You know what I'm trying to say? Like what she offered to Subaru was like not what he needed, or would be quote unquote wrong, but it wasn't like a bad deal, if that makes sense. it was a bad deal, like, you know, giving up your soul and stuff like that, but like his goal would still like been met, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Her deal was evil, but it wasn't necessarily like, if we're talking about goals, it still hit the goal, and the only one that it really sacrificed was Subaru himself.
Who, let's face it, is quite used to sacrificing himself. So I was able to find out, yeah, Greed was in the flashback scenes.
Nice. Okay.
So,
Yes.
again,
He's a 79 god.
79 god.
Hey. Hey. Run for your lives.
Yes.
Which is what Subaru should be doing right now.
Nobody. There's something I noticed in the story, and I don't know if we mentioned this. I'll probably go back and watch some of the episodes, and this may be something that one of us mentioned before. But I noticed there's like this interesting theme of love in the story, and that, I guess, saying that out loud seems kind of obvious, but it's interesting how like most of these characters, like, motivations are like how love turned them into doing like screwed up things or really ridiculous situations.
I 100 agree with this. I don't know if I've said this before, but yeah, I think the show has this really like thing about like how love can twist people, and it's not exclusive to like the bad guys, right? Like, I think like what like a lot of shows is like, you know, this character is not completely evil, but he's like, he has these things, and this is a thing, or blah 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 blah. Like, you've seen like love fuck up like Subaru, right? Like his love for Emiliaton, in the Forever Day Prince arc was like, you understood what he was doing, but it was super fucking cringe, and it was like it makes sense that everyone beat his for it, right? And like it like put him down for it, right? Because like he was in this feeling of like feeling good, trying to do these things, but like I didn't understand. Like, I think like a lot of things that people say is like, oh, you've grown up, Subaru, or whatever, which is kind of true, where it's like he had to push through this like really fucked up cringy stage, and like that stuff wasn't just motivated by pride and stuff. Like, it was motivated by like the love for Amelia and stuff like that. You can say the same stuff with like, oh, fucking, I hate Ram. Ram and fucking Rosario, right? Basically the reason why he's still alive, and like the one of the main reasons why his schemes work or whatever. Like, there's like a lot of these characters, and then obviously Rosario and Echidna, where like a lot of these characters are doing like very messed up things to basically just be with someone they love, right? And like, let's even go back to this episode, right? Episode 1, right, where it's like, Will's love for his wife has basically irreparably messed up his relationships with his grandson and his son, and from what he's saying and the feeling is, it's not anyone's fault. It was him. He was the one that caused like the rifts.
Same thing could go for Garfield. His
yeah. Oh my gosh.
abandonment issues, and you know, his love for his sister and his wife made it so he was willing to kill people if they leave.
I never gonna get it. It's like, no one can leave. No one can go. Bro, I'm just trying to get out of here. No. But you hate it here, and we hate it here. He's like, still, we gotta stay here.
And I'm curious to see how this theme, if it continues into the story, like if we learn more about Roswell's motivations. A lot of the things that this show does really interesting is that it hides people's motivations, and it can hide them for so long, and then you're kind of wondering about their behavior, and then it finally makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like the payoff of people's motivations seems to be like, okay, I get it. I get why you did it, right? I don't agree with it. I think you're an asshole. Like, I think Garfield was, I like, you could hear me in the second season. I was like, this dude, right? This is the worst dude ever, right? Then you like understand, like, okay, this dude has like serious abandonment issues. So you're like, you understand, like, he has serious abandonment issue, and he's also de facto like kind of like the guardian of the place, right? So he has this like a whole like a bunch of tension around these things. So this is why it's like, okay, this random person came in here and he stinks of the witch and all this other stuff. So, you know, therefore I will just like hold on to everything very, very tightly, right? I think these things work. And I think another thing that they do is like they kind of build on each other, right? Like his Garfield's insecurity hasn't gone away at all in the last past year, right? Like we get that from the flashback kind of thing with the gut lady, the gutsy lady.
He has yet to discover lasagna. Even Beetlejuice,
Yep.
his relationship with Echidna's caretaker, and correct me if I'm wrong. Did when in some of Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, whatever his name it is, because every different subtitle thing I watched, it was different. Did he mention things about love? Because I feel like I remember.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like he did so much.
And you get to see how, like, in the second season, how his relationship with Amelia's caretaker affected him, and I guess how his relationship affected this crazy lady over here, this crazy bandage lady. It's like this weird thing of like hurt people.
Yeah.
And that's what I really love this show, because to me it feels so like psychologically realistic while also being like very over the top.
Yeah. It's like it's just so many, like there's like every character so far has like, I don't want to say have issues, but like their hesitance around Subaru makes tons of sense, right? Because of like he's just literally a person that popped up in the world that knows nothing about it, and then like their hangups very reasonable too, right? Like Beto got a fucking bad straw where it's like, hey, here's this book that's gonna tell you the future, and there's nothing gonna be there.
Oh
And
yeah.
you're gonna be bound, but you're gonna put so much faith and hope in this book, and when you need it the most, it's gonna be fucking blank.
Oh man, that lady was awful.
And you know why someone did that? Because they thought it was funny.
Oh man, I don't get. I think I mentioned this earlier. I do not get why this isn't more of a popular show. I mean, I do get it. I think that first season of like Subaru probably was enough to turn a lot of people off.
Yeah, cringe arc was very cringe.
Yeah, who weren't willing to like go on the long ride to like see that out to the very end. But man, they're missing out on a lot. I love this show so much.
All right, so we've kind of talked about things. Let's move on to go through conversation yard into speculation palace. We have tea here, and let's talk about what we think is gonna happen next. I think, even though I hate it, they're not gonna let Subaru fucking return by death, unfortunately. So this situation is basically, yes, the princess is in another castle. I think the Archbishop and Greed and the Archbishop of Wrath is going to escape with Amelia. They're probably not gonna leave the town, but they're gonna definitely escape this conflict right now. I think Subaru's gonna take this very, very not well, but it's gonna try to like kind of devise a plan to find these guys before they head out. I think what he's gonna leverage is gonna be like, hey, put the city on lockdown so no one leaves, if that makes sense. Yeah, I just feel like they're not gonna let him die and try to get out the situation. It's too fucked up to leave.
Do you think Greed's palace is somewhere within the city?
I don't think Greed's palace is in the city, but I think the Archbishop of Greed's here too. Based off the opening. The Archbishop of Gluttony's here too, based off the opening. I think they're just all in the city and right now, and they just kind of have a hideout.
It feels like one big trap.
Yeah, and I think the only benefit of Amelia being captured basically is that Raph and Greed are gonna be like at their throat, each other's throat, because Raph really wants to kill Greed. I mean not Greed, Amelia. And I don't think I at least from what I got from Greed, from like what we saw in the second season, like he was literally only losing because someone had the power of retcon on their side.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's kind of like my prediction. I think I think I feel like Subaru is going to have to reel in Priscilla's like night Like they seem to be cool or whatever, but like I think Subaru's gonna have to leverage him, and you know they have that connection of both of them. I think they kind of mentioned like they at least he alluded to like I feel like I don't know if I heard this in the show or if I heard this somewhere else, but I think he alluded that he's like not from there either. He's like he's kind of like Kai'd here too, right?
Yes.
Or am I remembering? You know, yes. So like yeah, in the first season he kind of alludes to this, and oh yeah, this is when oh man, cringe art is very cringe. He's like alludes to this, so like I think he's gonna try to leverage it to Priscilla and his knight to be like, hey, like if we can take out any of the archbishops now, like it would just help everyone look better, right? Crush is gonna be innately motivated because it will help her get it. There's a chance that she can get her memories back, and Alestina is just gonna be into it because it just easily push her up higher on the charts as well, right? And Amelia's interested because she's literally being kidnapped right now. So that's why I think it's gonna go. But I still like have so many things. I don't know where this songstress person's coming in and play. I don't know how this how Garfield's mom and Garfield's like relationship thing is going into play. Your thoughts?
I think it was a really smart idea for them to kidnap Amelia. Story wise, I think we've had a lot of we got to know the character of Amelia a lot more. We have a lot of questions that I don't think they need to answer right now about her, but they've done enough answering questions already. I think they did a good job of taking her out of the situation. I think we're going to get a chance to look at a lot of the questions we have around the world around us outside of Amelia, which I'm really excited for. Like you said, I'm excited for learning about the Knight's background. We're with the introduction of the Ryokan, the Japanese inn. We're gonna learn a little bit more about the world of, or about the people of the Kararagi, which may give us a little bit more of an idea of what the connection is between our world and the Isekai world.
Yeah.
We now have a lot more of the candidates. We're going to learn more about the candidates, specifically what their motivations are. And also, we're starting to see more of the archbishops.
Yes, finally. I think that was one of my complaints in the second season, where it's like we have two main protagonists that name antagonists that showed up in the beginning of the second season and just fucking disappeared.
Yeah, remember when we were doing the show and we kept asking, like, projecting, hey, do you think they're going to show up? They have to show up in the last episode, right? Like, we have to see them in the last episode, right?
We were so wrong. Yeah. No anything, and this is like all based on opener. I think this is gonna be the Reinhardt. I know I keep messing up. Betty and Subaru kind of adventure. I think they're gonna be the main ones, like in most of the action, which is cool because like Lionheart is obviously seems to be like the strongest character, especially like when you see that flashback where he's like going at I can't believe I'm Puck, when he was going at Puck, when he went full like dragon Puck mode. Like this is when like the Witch of Greed made him see the occurring presents, like all the presents that Subaru has like died in, and like what people like were doing or expecting or whatever. And one of them was like, yeah, Puck fights Reinhardt, and that seems to not go well.
That was probably going to be a really cool fight. And on top of that, we get to learn more about Reinhardt, and we get to see Reinhardt fight a little bit more. We get to learn more about what is her name? Felt.
Yeah, Felt.
Who we met in the first episode, and again, along with ReZero's tradition of asking really good questions and introducing really interesting characters, and then never bringing them up for like the entire season.
It's like literally, it was like 4 episodes in. He was like, hey, this random girl is like literally a candidate in this super special war thing. I'm gonna take her, and also she has the power of speed on her side.
Yes, and we're gonna learn more about her, and also we mentioned it a little bit. Garfield's arc is coming up. We're gonna find a little, maybe possibly a little bit more about his abandonment issues.
Oh yeah, we need that. We already know what there is. We know they exist. We just need to know how extensive it. Let's see what the mom says. If it's his mom, maybe it's not.
Do you think that this is going to be relevant to the story at all?
I think it is going to be relevant in the story because it's going to. The way I see this is going to be like Garfield's mom is going to say the stuff that he needs to be to, Garfield's already ridiculously strong, but like kind of make him like top tier strong, like Reinhardt strong, if that makes sense. Like he's gonna like, I feel like his mom's gonna try to shift his thinking in that way, or she's gonna fucking wreck him, and now we're gonna have to deal with the Garfield problem again.
He's gonna get his mommy issues debuffed.
Hopefully, because if they get buffed, he's gonna be like, no one can leave the water city. We gotta stay here.
We gotta flood the waters. Somehow the water city is like the history of that's gonna come into play. I don't know how. I don't know if they're gonna have like a underground kind of thing where like, oh, this thing like it's actually a whole thing underwater, or like secret tunnels or whatever. But
secret tunnels.
They definitely
through the mountains.
Through the mountains, and they definitely make mention of there being some kind of secret around that area, and also having to do with the Kararagi. So I think we're gonna find out some more that deals with that.
Got you. I'm hoping. I know I'm not gonna get what I want because that's just life. But I want Rem back and I want Crush back. I'm hoping they actually do deal with the Archbishop of Gluttony, because like I think those are again two interesting characters that are kind of just literally like, hey, not themselves anymore. I think Rem is like she's kind of cemented into like a certain role. We know what the role is. Second best girl. That's what the role is. She is first loser. If you're not first, you're last. But like Rem's advice to Subaru has been like paramount in him getting victories. So like I feel like that character, I understand why you're like okay, take away this thing that's like stabilizing Subaru to do good stuff, or whatever. But like it like I think the character was still interesting, and I think Ram would have. I would want Ram's opinion about ReZero now after like everything that happened, because maybe she could get her sister out of a fucking toxic relationship.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did a swap out. Like we got Ram, and meanwhile Amelia is somewhere in another castle for maybe another season or so.
Oh, she's stuck in another castle. God damn it, we just got her out of water.
Dun 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 dun.
And it's like it's instead of like Subaru like fighting Bowser, it's just him throwing random people to help him, like a Pokemon battle. It's just Bowser and in a Pokemon battle, and Subaru throwing out Beto and like Garfield and all these other people to help him.
That is basically, he is basically Ash Ketchum in this world. Is that it? Did we cover everything?
I think we did. If you've been watching, thank you so much for watching. We're gonna probably do all these episodes. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, please watch our other stuff. Please go check out Roscoe's video on his channel. What's the target? Barely Awesome, right?
Yeah, it may have gotten copyright struck. I gotta look into it again.
Got you. But it's a episode on Superman, super good.
Yes.
If you have ever got hit with the I hate Superman allegations, and you're wondering why, or you're wondering why Superman's good, I think it's a good video to watch. Also, you can watch some other stuff. I know I'm saying this now, but there's going to be other content on our platform soon. We have a trip that we went to Japan that will probably be up there soon, and then we have some talks about some other pitches we did, and some talks we did about.
You said pitches, right?
Yeah, pitches.
Okay, it sounded like something else. It sounded like something. I was like, what?
All those pitches. I lost my train of thought. Oh, and some more talks about artists we like. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Roscoe, for being here with me. Do you have anything else to say?
I don't think I have anything else left to say, but other than just, again, thank you for watching. I feel like we should always say, thank you for beating the algorithm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I be trying to look up No Name Station, and it is very difficult to find it.
Yeah, we're under the station. We're so no name. We're under the underground. And I want to just say something really quick. Yeah, thank you so much for someone we don't post often and stuff like that, but we have 76 subscribers, which is a crazy amount of subscribers to us. It might not be crazy to other people, but I appreciate every single one of you guys just subscribing and listening to some of our content, because you don't have to, and it's cool that you do.
And 76 is just so close to 79.
We need the 79 waifu. Come on, guys. I take back everything I said. You guys need to work harder. If there's nothing else, take it easy.
Take it easy.